The sea and its unique inhabitants. You don't always have to travel to exotic countries. Many miracles happen in unexpected locations. Tiny dramas, magnificent spectacles. The North Sea and the Baltic, as we have never seen them before. The North Sea lies between the coasts of Great Britain and mainland Europe. For millions of years, only one thing has been certain in this sea, that everything is constantly changing. If you want to survive, you have to be flexible. The coast of Scotland is home to an animal that's more adaptable than many. It's one of the most intelligent residents of the North Sea. The bottlenose dolphin. This dolphin pod is on its way to a very special hunting ground. The Moray Firth, a bay east of Inverness. To catch fish here, the animals need help from Mother Nature. More precisely, the tides. As high tide approaches, their hour draws near. The incoming water creates a strong current. That's exactly what they were waiting for. The bottlenose dolphin young are about to learn an unusual hunting strategy. Finding salmon in the murky water isn't easy. Dolphins, however, have a super sense. They use echolocation to track down their prey without seeing them. The current helps because it pushes the fish straight towards them. And then, this. The reason for this behavior, the salmon are so big, the bottlenose dolphins can only swallow them if their prey is perfectly positioned. As long as it isn't, they keep spitting them out. Actually, the young should learn to manage these great gobbets by watching. But what adolescent ever wanted to study too hard? While the adults hunt, the young enjoy their lives. When the tide goes out, the hunt is over and the family moves away again. The salmon they hunt have become scarce in recent years. So far, this hasn't been a problem. The dolphins' hunting grounds are almost limitless, as is their choice of prey. Despite major changes in the North Sea, they're coping surprisingly well. Not all animals are so adaptable. Seabirds in particular often have a hard time with environmental change. One of their most important colonies is on Fair Isle, the southernmost of the Shetland Islands. The island measures barely 8 square kilometers. Its isolation and the steep cliffs make it an ideal breeding ground for seabirds. Like puffins, in the summer, they gather to lay their eggs. Fair Isle would be paradise for these little birds if it wasn't for this troublemaker. A male skua. He purposely keeps low. The skua aims to steal the puffin's prey or to snatch a bird. Only a surprise attack has a chance. The puffins fly out to sea and dive out of danger. The attack fails, like any number before it. The constant assaults are stressful for the puffins. Now and then they need a break. Skuas mostly feed on other seabirds' prey. Apart from the scraps the puffins dropped in their panic, the skua gets nothing. And that's far too little, because it isn't hunting just for itself. The skuas live some way from the puffins, in the island's hilly center. Four to 500, spread over the high plateau. They came here to breed too. The skua male's chick has only just hatched, and it's already on the move. Skua young leave their nest in days. And as soon as they're on their feet, they develop an insatiable appetite. The father is trying to regurgitate some food, but no matter how hard he tries, he doesn't have anything. It's not a good start for the little one. The puffins need food too. The cries from the nesting burrows are unmistakable. Appearances are deceptive. This beak may be full of sand eels, but the parents are flying further and further to find fish. Prey stocks have declined dramatically in recent years. That means more and more hunting. That weakens the puffins. The skua and his female are no different. This time he almost succeeded. Down in the puffin colony, his partner starts searching the burrows. Some puffins missed the attack, feeding their young in the burrow. The female skua doesn't know how close her prey is. Everything is going wrong for the skua couple. Once again, the chick begs in vain. There's less and less to snatch from other birds because the North Sea is totally overfished. The skuas are forced to hunt puffins directly. But the puffins are so nervous, the skuas hardly ever manage to surprise them. The male searches the burrows again. Harsh as these pictures are, The skewer father has no choice. Finally, food for the whole family. This time, they'll all be fed. But many chicks won't make it this year. They'll starve. There are barely 20,000 skewers left in the world. Fair Isle is one of their last sanctuaries in the North Sea. And even here, it's getting harder and harder. As food becomes scarce, most seabird species are in dramatic decline. The skewers are doing what any of us would do, fighting for survival. Not all problems are so obvious. Some changes happen in secret. This is Bamborough Castle in northern England. In 2022, a curious catch surprised some fishermen here. They caught strange crabs in their traps. No one had seen anything like it. And marine biologists were concerned. But why? To find the solution, we have to leave the North Sea and travel further north. 2,000 kilometers to Kirkenes in Norway. This region has nothing to do with the North Sea, at least not geographically. And yet there was a worrying development here that could soon affect the North Sea. At first glance, the underwater world seems lifeless. Little but sandy soil and rocks. Nothing to attract most species at this chilly time of year. But in April, at the end of winter, a visitor emerges from the depths. It's like an alien from another world. A king crab. With a leg span of 1.80 meters, weighing up to 10 kilos. A real giant. And it's not alone. Hundreds, sometimes even thousands, arise from the deep. They devour everything in front of them. Nothing is safe. They like sea urchins, as well as starfish, clams, and other small animals. They plow through the ground like excavators. When they're done, it's a desert. Like an oversized vacuum cleaner, the crab army marches across the bottom. In the depths, where they spend most of the year, they've done significant damage. Large mussels, sea urchins, and starfish have almost completely disappeared. But that's not why the crabs have gathered here. They've come to mate. The male grabs his partner. Now, he must be patient till she's ready. After fertilization, she'll lay 500,000 eggs. Though only about 2% will hatch, she'll still have nearly 10,000 offspring. King crabs don't belong here at all. At the end of the 1960s, they were released by Russian scientists in Murmansk, about 100 kilometers away. On purpose. They were meant to be a new source of income for the fishermen. It was a great success. But the consequences were unexpected. Over the past few decades, king crabs spread further and further south. In Great Britain, genetic tests have shown that the crabs there are not the king crabs from Norway. Panic over. But for how long? As with the giant crabs, it's usually man-made changes that threaten a habitat. The consequences often only appear over time. For example, on the Dutch North Sea coast. This country is world famous for its tulip fields. It's also the land of dikes and barrages. Projects like these have cut off many natural bays from the North Sea, like the Oosterschelde. The exchange between fresh and salt water is severely restricted. As a result, the underwater world is barren. Mud and sand are typical here. But this is an unusual structure. Put together from willow branches, scuba divers sank it here. To help a very special couple. A squid couple. The female is about 40 centimeters long, her suitor significantly larger. And that's precisely what makes him attractive. He's certainly sure of himself. Squid mate head to head. What the two of them don't know, they have a secret observer, a so-called satellite male. And the name says it all. He's been circling them for days. This little fellow has hardly any chance of mating. Only a trick can help him. He doesn't let the couple out of his sight. A few hours after fertilization, the expectant mother heads for the willow sticks. This is where she will attach her egg capsules. They're covered with a black skin, so predators can't see the baby squid. The breeding aid is in demand. Another couple is already waiting. Each female lays about 500 egg capsules. Before they can release the next batch, they have to recover. The whole thing can take days. The male always stays close to his bride. At any moment, another squid could come along and mate with her. But he doesn't recognize the satellite male as a competitor. His trick? He behaves like a female. The old fellow is confused, but he has no time to see through the ruse because the female is ready to lay her eggs again. For the little one, it's now or never. He's not short of confidence, but the timing is wrong. While she attaches the egg capsules, he has another go. And there it is. Under the eyes of the male, he seduces the female. Spot on. A successful mating. With a bit of luck, the female will now attach some of the egg capsules that he fertilized. The future of these squids is suspended from a few willow branches. Hardly anyone knows that these romantic windmills caused the destruction of their habitat. From the early 17th century, the Dutch began to reclaim land. The windmills were mainly used to drain the wetlands and floodplains. It worked. More and more land was taken from the North Sea. Areas that previously belonged to the ocean and its inhabitants. Barrages and dams finally sealed their fate. Seagrass meadows once covered this seabed. Natural spawning grounds for the squid. Today, they are no more. Without these willow constructions, squids could probably no longer exist here. 6 weeks on, there are squid carcasses everywhere. Straight after laying their eggs, males and females die. They only reproduce once in a lifetime. So it's all the more important to restore the spawning grounds. Until then, humans must help them. Something is happening on the willow branches. After almost 2 months, 2-centimeter mini squid hatch. Maybe one is descended from the satellite male. They'll spend about a year in the shelter of the oyster shelter. Then they'll go out into the North Sea. With any luck, they'll come back one day. So the willow sticks are set up every year by people who want to do their bit to correct the mistakes of the past. A small mammal was facing the same fate as the squid. It was gone from most of Britain. It has survived in only a few places. One of them is at the very north of Scotland. The Shetland Islands. They mark the northwesternmost point of the North Sea. The islands attract tens of thousands of seabirds. While they mostly nest on the steep cliffs, the gently sloping banks are home to a shy inhabitant. An otter. The cub only left her birth cave a few days ago. Together with its mother and 2 other siblings. Since then, the family have been under constant surveillance. The crows have learned they often find something to eat near otter cubs. Unlike the rest of the family, the little one doesn't dare go into the water. Her brothers are now starting school. And there's only one subject on the curriculum: hunting fish and crabs. While their mother starts right away. The 2 babies first explore their new environment. Otters are born to dive. Even young ones can stay underwater for minutes at a time. They learn to hunt with playful ease. At least if they attend class. The little one would rather stay dry. She's banking on the family delivery service. Her mother is bound to have caught something. Her brother got hold of the fish. He won't give it up willingly. She'll have to assert herself, or she'll get nothing. Finally, she gets her share. The crows noticed that too. One of them decides to distract the baby otter by throwing a sea snail. His partner seems to understand. If it works, she'll be perfectly placed to grab the fish. The plan fails. But the birds won't give up. A little nip doesn't work either. Any more ideas? They got a small piece, but she kept the biggest share. Next morning, low tide. The water here is very shallow. Perfect for learning a new hunting tactic. The brothers are now almost independent, and their mother must know that too. They rummage through the seaweed for delicacies. Pretty soon, they're successful. The little one still isn't joining in. Suddenly, things get uncomfortable. A storm is on its way. The female brings her family to safety. But the mother has no choice. If she wants to feed her family, she must find prey. She needs up to 1.5 kilograms of food every day. Dive after dive. And she mustn't forget to feed herself. After all, her offspring will depend on her for up to a year. The storm has abated. The lesson continues. The youngest is skipping class again. Then she plucks up courage and even dares to go it alone. Her very first attempt shows that she too is in her element. But can she fend for herself? Her first crab. In the next few weeks, she'll perfect hunting underwater, and maybe someday have a family of her own. Otters have made a comeback in the UK, and not only in sanctuaries like the Shetlands. Thanks to dedicated conservationists, their habitats have been restored in many places. Unfortunately, helping animals isn't always as easy, especially when the problem affects large areas. Like here, in the German Bight. Heligoland is about 50 kilometers from the mainland. In early summer, thousands of gannets populate the island. These birds mate for life. When the couple meet again after months apart, they renew their vows of fidelity. They've come to raise their young. The female on this ledge has been waiting for her mate for days. And here he comes. United at last. But there's a problem. The remains of fishing nets cover the breeding rocks. They're a serious danger to the couple on the ledge, too. The plastic nets are not just everywhere under their feet. They also hang down over their heads. The consequences are often devastating. This female has her neck and wings tangled in the web. As hopeless as his partner's situation is, the male does not leave her side. The danger for the gannets is obvious, but where do the nets come from? For a long time, seaweed was their nesting material of choice. Today, the gannets almost only use scraps of fishing net. They can't distinguish between natural and artificial nesting material, with dire consequences for their offspring. 95% of the nests are affected. It's all too easy for fibers to wrap around wings and legs. Many chicks die. The situation on the ledge has also taken a disastrous turn. The male has caught his wing. If he can't free himself soon, he will die of thirst in agony. Things are even worse for the neighbors. The female is still caught in the net. She's now completely exhausted. But her partner does not give up on her. It isn't only gannets that suffer from the nets. On Heligoland, they share the cliffs with guillemots. They raise their young on bare rock. But that doesn't stop them getting hopelessly caught up. Next morning, the colony slowly awakens. Not everyone has survived the night. The female is dead. Her fate is shared by many northern gannets on Heligoland. Between 100 and 200 birds die each breeding season. It's almost impossible to prevent. Removing the nets won't help. The birds would immediately bring new ones. The male is hanging on the ledge, still caught up. Urged on by his partner, he makes a final effort. It worked. This couple have another chance at life. There have been experiments with biodegradable fishing nets for a long time now, but it'll be a while before their large-scale introduction. That may be too late for the gannets. Increasingly, the inhabitants of the North Sea are facing almost impossible challenges. We must take their protection much more seriously if we want to continue enjoying the unique wildlife of our seas, both for ourselves and for future generations.